Hello, I'm Mathieu from Ludovox, and we are on the Wizkids booth, and we are there with Didi. Hi.
Hi, hello, everybody.
So we are in the final day of the Essen Spiel 2017, and you're going to give us an idea of what Lancelot is, right?
Yes, I do.
So who is the game intended for? What type of game it is? How long does it last?
I think if you're expertise, you can play it in 60 minutes like that.
For how many players?
2 to 4 players.
So who are we in Lancelot, and what are we trying to achieve?
Okay, you are be a knight of the great king table of Arthur, and you try to get for the title of the first knight, Lancelot. So this is why the game called Lancelot. So no Lancelot is in the game because you try to get it.
So how do we achieve that objective? I guess it's competitive, right?
Yes, it's competitive, but mostly you play on your own turn. There's only a few things to blockade some other players to not that they're not achieving their goals.
So what do we do in a turn?
In the turn you collect several different things to fulfill some conditions to get some VP out of it.
So it's a victory point game, but do we have worker placement? What are those discs for?
The discs are only counter to mark the spots you are taking control of, or mark the things you've done in the things.
Can you get into more detail and about the actions and the different spots?
In the beginning, you start. You have a starting position, and if you take a starting position and it matches things on the board, you place your marker there. Then you have a little boon out to get more resources out of that.
And what do we do with our resources? So we collect them, I guess these are those tokens there, and what do we do with them?
Okay, you can use tokens to fulfill some conditions, and if you fulfill some conditions, I showed you the board. If you fulfill some conditions, you need squires. You get squires here, then you can fulfill the conditions and get victory points out of it. Or with some swords, you have to fight the dragon, and if you fight the dragon, you get more VPs out of it.
So how can we block other players, or how do we interact with other players?
Okay, so I take control over this space. When your turn ends, you choose another starting position, and if another player gets this starting position, he takes control over it. So your token is just going away, and now the other player can use the boon.
I wonder, what are those cards for?
Okay, these cards you can collect in the harbor. The distant lands it calls. And the cards you need to fulfill some conditions also, like the same tokens here. But the back on the card there are some different cards. The pink cards are the lady cards. And the lady cards, they have a nice lady on this with a knight kissing her. Then there are ally cards with an ally on the back. There are enemy cards. There is an enemy on the back. And there are white cards. That is a plot card. Somebody gives you a plot. But it does not mean anything. It's just the color.
So we just need to collect them to fulfill conditions and get victory points out of them.
Here you can activate your virtues. And you can fulfill it here. The trick is you are not going only one space, two space. You can go as far as you like. But you never can go back on the track. So you first had to activate a virtue, and then next turn you can fulfill it. So you cannot fulfill it in the same turn.
So when does the game end?
The game is about 8 turns, but there is an opportunity to get one extra turn. So normally 9 turns you play, and after that it ends. But the turns, if you are used to play the games, the turns go very fast, because you're planning the turns in the beginning, and then you just go very fast.
Okay, so is it out yet? Is it just out now?
The game is just out now, yeah. It's just printed for the fair, but so we have many in the stock, and it will be available soon on the retailers.
And you told me that it was almost entirely language independent, so there is only the rule. So we might see it in French, right?
Yes, you might see it in French very soon.
Okay, thank you, Didi, for that overview of Lancelot, and let's see you on Ludovox. Bye-bye.